This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Spotty Pablo in the Big O Show.
Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping it glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know.
Culture, probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
Citizens around the country have used their voices and platforms to speak out against these wrongdoings. Over the last few days in our home state of Wisconsin, we've seen the horrendous video of Jacob Blake being shot in the back 7 times by a police officer in Kenosha, and the additional shooting of protesters. Despite the overwhelming plea for change, there has been no action. So our focus today cannot be on basketball.
When we take the court and represent Milwaukee and Wisconsin, we are expected to play at a high level, give maximum effort, and hold each other accountable. We hold ourselves to that standard, and in this moment, we are demanding the same from lawmakers and law enforcement. We are calling for justice for Jacob Blake and demand the officers be held accountable. For this to occur, it is imperative for the Wisconsin State Legislature to reconvene after months of inaction and take up meaningful measures to address issues of police accountability, brutality, and criminal justice reform. We encourage all citizens to educate themselves, take peaceful and responsible action, and remember to vote on November 3rd on behalf of the Milwaukee Bucks. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Try that one more time. Come on.
Dude, I walked like 3 blocks now to go get my phone.
Okay.
All righty, we are ready. It is a Thursday. We are out here at Toyota of Hollywood like we are every Thursday. Hope you all are doing well.
Better than you, man.
Yeah.
Get your breath for half a second, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right when I was about to go on, I forgot I left the phone in my car. And so you can't be without your phone. It's impossible.
That's like your right arm being gone.
Yeah, so I'm putting a little extra something on my car, and so it's over in the shop, and nothing's wrong with it. I'm saying I'm putting an extra thing on my car, and so they're installing it, and so I go, oh, where's my phone? And I left it in the car, so I had to walk. I keep telling you, this is 400,000 square feet. Man, it's every bit of it now when you got to walk. It's a beautiful thing. But anyway, welcome aboard. This is going to be one of those shows that, there isn't a lot of sports to talk about, and it happened a lot to us in the past here in the last couple of months. We picked a hell of a time to start a podcast. And, we started it last year, and it's been a challenge, I got to say. The first half was great, and then this second half, it hasn't been easy, right? Because it's a cross of life and sports meeting each other on a consistent basis, and it's sad, right? Because we've got to go through this, we've got to argue about it, we've got to fight, we've got to watch some of these disgusting videos about the behavior that's going on in this country, and we're at a crossroad. And yesterday, you heard the Bucks, and they made their statement, and they ended up. It's interesting because this thing caught everybody by surprise. And I lived it yesterday myself. We had our own version of it while we were at the at Inter Miami Stadium in Fort Lauderdale last night. And we're awaiting the start of that game, and we already knew there was a buzz about the players possibly quitting. And so the Bucks started it. You just heard their message. And listen, if you're not black, you can't experience it. You don't know. If you're a minority, then you've experienced some kind of bias in your life. You know what I mean? But it's nothing like what the black community is going through for hundreds of years now, okay? Let's not just talk about what went on, just recently or with George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or any, but this has been going on for a long, 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 long time. And when LeBron James comes out and tweets, F it, I'm done with this, it just gets to a point where you've had enough. You know what I'm saying? And I don't blame people for drawing the line. And that's kind of what the NBA players did, because somebody's got to do it, right? And right now in the general black community, it's harder for them to do it because they don't have cameras on them. And they don't have the power and they don't have the influence. These guys do. And for those of you that think that, this isn't going to make much of an impact, maybe it doesn't. But you've got to try. And when you start affecting the pockets of the owners, which then in turn you're affecting the pockets of the TV companies, which then you're also affecting the pockets of sponsors. There are commitments that they're not living up to because the game wasn't played. There's a lot of people that are losing out, and a lot of those people are in positions of power. A lot of those people contribute to a lot of the campaigns that put some of the elected officials in place. And so that's where, they now, players I think are hoping that this will then impact them, and then they will put pressure on the elected officials who will then make the changes in their, respective police departments and get the justice that a lot of these families deserve in a lot of these incidents that have gone on. And so, look, man, do I really want to be talking about this? No. Do you think I've been wanting to talk about this for the last couple of months? No. I want to talk sports, man. I mean, that's what I got into. That's what I've been at for 30 years. It's sports. And
I've known you for 38, 40 years. This morning, bro, I could tell. And we've been together doing this since back March 27th last year. Starting a show, I have not seen you this down, disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your mood is, that's why I said, are you okay, man?
yeah,
I can see it's eating at your heart.
yeah, because this is no fun, man. This is not fun. I don't want to talk about these kind of things. I'd rather just have some fun and talk about, the Heat playing their next series and talking about the Dolphins getting prepared for the season and the Marlins playing and, everything else. There's so much. Inter last night, it could have been 2 in a row, with Nashville next, the expansion team. And I think Miami's better than Nashville as it is. I think they're going to beat Nashville. It could have been 3 in a row. There's so many things that I could be talking about, and we've got to address this and we've got to talk about it. And it's a shame. And now it's going to affect everything because, it's going to trickle down. There's already several teams in the NFL that aren't going to practice today. The Dolphins are off today, so they don't have to deal with that monster today, but they may have to deal with it tomorrow.
One that I know for sure before I left, Redskins, no practice,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
No, there's a few already.
once one the domino falls.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, there's several already as it is, and we'll see how much this affects in the NFL. But I understand what went on yesterday. I understand what's going on in this country, and nobody likes to be abused. You know what I mean? It's just who the hell loves that? Who wants to be a part of that? Nobody. And at one point or another, you've got to say enough is enough. And you've got to make some kind of a stand. And you've got to be able, and you got to be willing to risk something. And I commend the NBA players for that. And I commend MLS soccer. I wish they would have been a little bit more organized because they made Orlando and Nashville look pretty silly last night. And to give you a little insight on what happened, we were at the stadium. I was at the stadium early because, as you all know, I had to go. Those of you that were watching yesterday, I had to go to the meeting.
How did you make your meeting?
I made it with
Okay.
I made it with 3 minutes to spare. But anyway, so I had to go, and I was there for a while. And as we were getting closer to pregame, we get word that the players are discussing a boycott because of everything that had gone on in the NBA. But they were in the process of getting in contact with Orlando and Nashville and talk to their player reps to try to get them to, hey, we're going to boycott, and the rest of the MLS is going to boycott.
A unified front.
Right. And I don't know what happened because that part I don't know about, whether they were able to connect with them, whether they said yes or no, or whether they weren't able to connect with them. But the Orlando and Nashville game went on. And so we were told that the belief was that if they couldn't reach Orlando, Nashville in time to cancel that game, that all the other games would be played. So when Nashville and Orlando started, our pregame show started because our pregame show started at 7:30. Nashville, Orlando started at 7:30. So when we saw that the game started, we were like, okay, well, then, we're doing a pregame show for a real game then. And sure enough, right when we were like wrapping up the pregame, I hear Whittingham, like, this doesn't look good, and whatever. And then, okay, we'll throw it to Chris Whittingham, Thomas Rogan, and Fernando Fiore. And we throw it to them, and immediately they go, well, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't look good right now, this and that. And we're looking at Pizarro down in the field, and he's on the pitch in his practice uni. And we're like, well, wait a minute. He doesn't have – and we're trying to figure out the starters. Are they dressed? Are they dressed to the nines, ready to play football? And no, they weren't. Some of them weren't. And some of them had that body language like they had tuned out. And I'll tell you, it happened to me yesterday. We're getting ready for the pregame show. And we're hearing, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm like, I'm depressed because it's hard to get up to do a pregame show for a game that isn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then they gave us this little inkling of hope. Well, listen, they're trying to get contact with Orlando, and if they don't, then they'll play. And so when we saw that it started, we felt like, okay, we're going to get a game, and we didn't get the game. And so then they walked off. The only thing is I wish they would have been a little bit more organized. But I'll give the MLS credit because the NHL was the one that looked really bad last night because they just went on with their games and they didn't care and they moved on and, a little sign up there that says Black Lives Matter, whatever.
But just that one game. But they didn't even carry it to the other games.
No.
That was bad.
It was just, I'm just saying, it's a bad look for, the NHL, but whatever. It is what it is. What are you going to do? It's a really white sport anyway. So it's, I guess they don't really care that much about it, but because it doesn't affect their world. Most of the guys that are there, it doesn't affect their world. I completely understand what went on. I mean, listen, kind of what happened yesterday with us in soccer. In the NBA, the Magic were on the court warming up while the Bucks were making this decision. And when the Bucks made this decision, I mean, Kyle Korver had to go and apologize. He didn't have to, but he went and apologized to players around the league. And he said, hey, we're sorry about this decision and how we, went for it without really consulting the rest of the league and kind of put everybody in a position. And then most of the people were like, hey, dude, we understand what you're doing. We're good. We're with you. And so there was a lot of unification, and that was really, really cool. Woj reported a few minutes ago that it looks like they're more inclined to finish the playoffs. And again, the players are meeting now. We'll find out what's the news. We'll keep you updated. But it says conversations have been going on throughout the morning among owners, league executives, coaches, and players about how the league can restart these playoffs. Sources tell ESPN the players and board of governors have separate meetings set to start now. And then it says several key members of the Lakers and some peers around the league stayed up until early AM hours talking through issues in the bubble. Among key players in league heading into 11 a.m. meeting, there's optimism about a majority of players wanting to continue the playoffs. Now, let me explain something. This is where I think it's smart to continue the playoffs, okay? It's smart to cancel the games yesterday and today to kind of send a message and all of that. And it affects, a lot of people, and it rattles cages. And now owners know that players are willing to walk off the court. So that becomes a promise now, not a threat. It's a promise that they can tell you, hey, we can do this at any time. Okay? We're tired of what's going on. So they're hoping that they get owners and everybody else on board with them to help influence others in the process. But the intelligent part about keeping the playoffs going is it keeps your platform going. If you cancel the season and everybody disappears to their homes and their families, okay, you are not unified anymore. You're all over the place, and it'll be a lot harder to get your message out. You're going to have to call media. You're going to have to try to organize things on your own because you're not with the team. You're not with 14 other of your family members on that team, and that all of you, when you're in one place at one time, you're all unified. And you, like yesterday, you're able to actually, send that message out. And listen, it has reverberated all throughout the world, not just ESPN. It's on Fox, it's on CNN, it's on MSNBC, it's on Reuters, it's on Sky, you name it, everybody's talking about it. Why? Well, because it affects everybody, even people in the news departments. Okay? So everybody's going to have an opinion on it, and then now it sheds some light on it. This is an opportunity for them that they're together, they're constantly meeting. They can constantly plan things out together like they did yesterday. I think it's really, really important what they did yesterday, and I think it's even more important to stay in that bubble. I'll stay consistent, too. Yesterday, I disagreed with George Hill. Oh, I don't know why we're here. Well, George Hill was one of the guys you heard in that message with the Bucks. Well, George Hill, if you didn't go to the bubble, you would not have this moment. Because everybody would be at their house. No basketball would be being played. You're not promoting your sport. You're not making any money. And guess what? When it comes to social justice, you're not doing anything. Because what are you going to do? Go out of your house and what? Join some kind of a rally? So the local news gets your picture. George Hill, part of a rally. Boom, over. Doesn't do anything. Remember? We saw it all over the place. You'd see some famous person and they'd be at a protest and they just show the famous person and it's over. That's why George Hill was wrong. The beauty of being in that bubble was the unification of everybody sending that message shocked the world. So stay in the bubble. Stay playing the games. Stay sending the message. And now the threat is there. Now the promise is there that if you don't help us, we will walk out. You will lose money. You will piss off your partners. You will piss off your corporate partners. You will piss off your co-owners. You will piss off the TV networks. You know what I mean? So this is the interesting part about all of this. Stay in the bubble. Stay strong. Keep the message going. It's really, really important. Look, you're not going to change the world overnight. We have evolved. We are changing, okay? Now, you got to remember, we got a certain section of the world that is racist. But it's what I told you 2 days ago. You can tear down all these monuments and all that stuff. All those people were racist back in the day. Because 100 and 200 and 300 years ago, we couldn't have been more racist and more biased. And that was everybody that pretty much walked the face of the earth, period. Doesn't matter what color, what religion, whatever. They all had hate. They all had biases. They were all convinced of certain things because it was the way of the world. Hell, at one point, we thought the world was flat. It's just not Kyrie Irving. I'm talking about long time ago, they figured it was flat. You know what I'm saying? So we have evolved in all kinds of ways in our thinking, okay? I've said this over and over and over again. Don't tell me we haven't grown as a country because I see a black president. I see women in government. I see gays in government. So we have grown. We are more open to everybody else, but we still have this certain section of people that hate some color, that hate some religion, that hate some sexuality. Those people are there. And time will weed that out. You got to remember, like I told you a couple days ago, the entire world was racist a couple hundred years ago. Okay? And so slowly but surely, we're kind of eliminating all of that. But clearly, it's still there. Okay? I mean, we see the Kens and Karens every day on social media and on the news. The Kens and Karens come out, and the racists come out. But I truly believe that there's less of that as our generations evolve. And I've told you many times, go look at millennials and Generation Zs. They're more accepting of others than any of the prior generations. And that's how we have evolved. The only thing is, it's too slow. That's our problem. Our involvement has it's a snail's pace. And the black community is done with the snail's pace of it. And women, they should be done with the mistreatment. And the LGBT community should be done with the mistreatment. It gets to a point, man, where you got to do something about it. And people got to stay. And listen, if I see people talk and argue all the time about Jacob, damn it, now I'm forgetting his name now. What's his name?
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake, the Jacob Blake shooting. I hear everybody talking about the Jacob Blake shooting, and there's always, well, you got to listen to the cops. Okay, that's fine. I get it. Most people listen to the cops, but not everybody's going to listen to the cops. So you've got to be able to do other things, except you don't have to shoot somebody 7 times. Now, if they're aiming a gun at you, then you can shoot them 7 times. I'm all for that. But we've got to get, whether it's George Floyd or Jacob, it doesn't matter, man. It's abusive what you saw there. And it doesn't matter what color, what sexuality you are, what nationality you are. You got to know what's right and what's wrong. And that's what we got to fight for now. What's right and what's wrong. And there's a lot wrong right now. We got to do the right thing. And yesterday, the NBA players are trying to rattle some cages. And they probably rattled a lot of cages yesterday.
In relation to, like you said, them staying in the bubble, listen, unless the players are going back to their state and the state is holding some assembly at the capitals, you're meeting with the federal government or something, you know what I mean, and major changes.
Apparently we don't sound good, I guess. I don't know. Speak up, please. I see gays in government, so we have grown. We are more open. I hear it. Everybody else, but we still I'm not sure. That hate some color. Now, several of you have sent it in. Well, actually, mostly it's Big Rig. Let's see. Speak up, please. Ian from Brooklyn. Oh, I don't know, man. Is it fine now? Because it doesn't sound like it's bad right now. I don't know. So you guys
all the
tell
meters
me.
are good. It's popping on the YouTube. It's popping on the board. I hear it in my ear.
I don't know.
I'm seeing on the record everything. All the marks.
Audio is back, all good. That's what NorCal says. So audio was bad then.
Okay, you know what? This is a situation with YouTube because we've gone through this for 3 days, and it's a situation where the only place that it's not right is what's getting to you guys on YouTube. So, unfortunately, this is a YouTube issue because everything else is fine.
Yeah.
We can't do. I mean, unless we change where we go from YouTube, that's the only way to change it.
Right. No, I mean that's I can't tell you guys. I don't know. It should sound fine. I mean, I raised it now on my iPad and it sounded fine.
I know exactly.
Not perfect, but
look, the other day when we were
good.
at the studio and it was going in and out, it was. But the only place that it did that was on YouTube. So it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Because all the meters, every line on like the meters are on 3 different apparatuses, and all of them are fine. It's just the YouTube. So that's the source.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. It says it got corrected. They're not caught up. It was low. Okay. Audio's been cutting out a little bit, but it's come back fine the last few minutes from what I'm hearing. All right. Well, all right. Anyway, so I raised it on here and it just sounded fine, but I'm sorry if there's some kind of a connection with YouTube or something like that. I can't do anything about that. But right now it's because I'm watching it on my own pad. I always check it because I have the chat board in front of me so I can see all that stuff. It's been good for a few minutes. All right, there we go. Kenneth Cleveland, thank you. Sending in a super chat already. Yeah.
Whoop.
You got it? Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you, Kenneth. Backing up what you were saying, like, yeah, staying in it keeps the spotlight unless they're going to meet at each state's capital with, the assembly, and you're meeting with the federal government, and you're going to change police. Exactly.
Not going to happen.
The best place, the platform, is to stay where you have a spotlight.
Yep.
And if you shut it down, you walking in the crowd, we saw it with Terrell, we saw it with so many athletes. And, yeah, it's just a shot of them walking with a bunch of people, right, for a minute or two, and that's it. And it gets the one play. It doesn't even get replayed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the live shot, and that's it.
Kenneth Cleveland says, good morning, Big O. Kenneth Cleveland is live from the VIP Boom Boom Room having a cohiba and interviewing new talent. Mask only. There you go. That's it. That's what we like to see. New talent coming in. Who was first today, by the way? on the whole deal. Ian from Brooklyn was number one in the house. Man of 1,005 holds. He says today's show is going to be lit. Well, as long as you can handle issues, then it'll be all right. And the NorCal's with the boom. A premier reviewer is in. Man of 1,005 holds. Julius 305. Let's see. NorCal says liking the show from all accounts today. Double puff, better not give. Troy Ortiz, Raging Dolphin Maniac. Josh says, what up? Oh, and Big Bill, and everybody on this beautiful Thursday. Gus 1388. He says, going to be a hell of a show. I feel it. Call of Duty. Clee Torres. New York Kane is in the house. Who else we got here? Robert Triana. Flipside Fishing. John Santos says, I'm a biracial father here, and from a biracial father here and mom from Honduras. I had to deal with racial issues all my life. The last 3 years feels like it's gotten worse with the orange Cheeto puff in the White House.
That's accurate.
Sergio Romero's is in. Donald Peterson says, something is very wrong with our country. Are we really this hateful? Shoot a human in front of his kids for no good reason. Why? I can't answer it, Donald. I can't answer it, man. Alex is in. Big Rig is in. Flipside says, just giving you the heads up. Oh, your volume keeps cutting in and out like you have a loose wire connection or something. There we go, but I think it's all fixed now. Rich V. Jesse Minneapolis. Who else? Bones Z. Says, I'm happy them Dolphins let Balaj go. Yeah, we'll get to that little subject later on the show because it's really not that important. He wasn't really going to be a factor on this team anyway. If he was, it would have been a surprise. You know what I'm saying? McIntyre says, Electric Monkeys live everywhere. No big deal. Well, I don't know I don't know if it's some kind of live deal, messing up our audio, but whatever, man. Let's see. No preseason is going to make the first game of the NFL look like college and high school football. Yeah, it's going to be bad, bro. It's going to be bad.
It sounds like many of them anticipate somebody stepping out of line, the big old lines, and you ripping them.
Maybe. Now the question is, when you see the players walk out like they did last night, it's where do you go from here? And that's the question that you kept hearing from everybody. What is the next step? And so I don't know personally what the next step is because I'm not part of their meetings. But I was thinking about it for myself. And now that you've got this platform and now that you've got the owner's attention, because the owners in the NBA are phenomenal in supporting their players, right? But they had no idea that this was coming. And this is a setback for the league because these are playoff games that were supposed to be on TV, and it sets everything back now, right? And it's going to keep people in the bubble a little longer too, okay? So the question is, now that you've got the owner's attention, you've got the TV networks, because remember, the TV networks are driven by money, and they need content, and there's not a lot of content being out there. So sports is like a blessing for them because they don't have there aren't new TV shows being filmed and movies and all that. So they have nothing new coming down the pike. So the fact that they have this is priceless for them because they need content, right? So now you've got everybody's attention. So now you've got to try to get them to help you, okay? I don't know how you do that, but if they know that they could be hurt in the pocket, then maybe they'll help you, okay? I mean, the guy that's in the office now, if you're in a certain tax bracket, a really high tax bracket, you probably want him in that office because he benefits you. You get all kinds of tax breaks because of him. If you're a $1 trillion company, then you want a guy like that in office because he's going to give you every break in the book, correct? Everybody has some kind of an agenda. And if it lines your pockets, it's going to help. Well, I was thinking about this. The black athlete, the black entertainer, the black singer. You know, a lot of people could back out, and that's a lot of money that's being left on the table. And that's a lot of entertainment that people aren't getting anymore. And then that's a lot of money that isn't going into people's pockets anymore. And maybe that's the way they've got to figure out a way to use money against the greed. And since they are the driving force in entertainment, okay, you just saw a tennis player drop out of the semifinals because she's black. Okay? So all of it, look, the NBA, the WNBA, I'm sorry, bless them, they did the stand, they did all of that, but nobody's going to miss them if they're out. Let's be honest, okay? I'm like one of the few people that will watch the WNBA. I covered the Soul. Hell, go look at my studio. I have a Soul flag back there. But I'm minority, man. I watch all sports. So that's, I'm a sick and twisted dude, but not a lot of people are like that. Most people, they don't care about hockey. They don't care about baseball anymore unless you're old. They don't care about the WNBA. The MLS is something that's more for young people. They have the youngest demographic out of all the pro sports. So older people grew up with the non-soccer thing, and they kind of die with that. It's the newer generations that are going to pick soccer up and take it to the next level, but it's not mainstream yet. Even though they do outdraw per game more than the NHL and the NBA, but whatever, that's a whole other different discussion. But the point is, they're not where the NBA is and where the NFL is. And so now the question is, what is that next step? What can the players do to influence and to change or to help change be made? And that's the challenge for them now, because you can walk out and you can send your message. The question is, what do you do next? I'll give you another example of what NBA teams and NBA players, I don't know if they've thought of this. Again, I'm not in the meetings. Have you been to an NBA game? So let me ask you, Bill, what are the things you notice when you're at an NBA game? Who are there? Who's there? What are the people there? What do you expect to see at an NBA game?
Well, if you're in one of the cities like ours or Los Angeles.
An NBA game, bro. Doesn't matter where it's at. What do you see at an NBA game?
A lot of white people in the stands and a lot of black people on the floor.
What else do you see?
Everybody united,
You see coaches?
Yeah, of course.
You see men?
Cowboys, kids, women, yeah.
You see anybody in a uniform ever in an NBA game? A police officer?
No, you know what? It's
you don't?
Well, I mean, some games, but security events, yes,
no,
of course.
All games, Bill. All games have cops.
Well, they do, but
okay.
It isn't like at a football game that there's one at every section at a Canes game.
Actually, there's lots of cops at a basketball game, outside and inside the arena. So let me ask you something. How about the NBA tell all the cops, every city says, hey, you guys need to start changing your ways. We're not hiring you guys. How about the players put pressure on the owners and say, why don't you guys hire private security? We don't trust the police. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money cops lose. What if the MLS then follows suit and doesn't hire any cops? What if the NHL follows also and says, no, we're also going to stay away from the police? What if the NFL does it too? So then all of a sudden, that's a lot of overtime they're losing. And let me tell you, that's a sweet gig. That's a sweet gig. Because cops work like four days a week. And on those other 3 days, they probably use 2 of them to do overtime. And they rack it up, dude. Because they pay those guys 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour. I don't know what the hell it is. Okay? It was like 20-something 20 years ago. So I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, they probably knocked down my guys at the game. This probably goes back 7 or 8 years, like $400 or $500 for doing a game.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money.
Being around the airport,
so
Miami Springs, there's a lot of cops.
You could hire your own private service.
Yeah.
For that. I'm just saying there are ways that you can then send your
Nothing gets
message.
people's attention like hurting them in the pocket.
Money. And that's kind of what my point was, is money. So the NBA players have to find a way to hurt people with money, because that's the only way they respond. A lot of people that are in the Trump tax bracket, they don't like Trump. They don't like most of the stuff that he says or stands for. But because he's going to give breaks, to those kind of people, they're going to vote him in because it helps their pockets. It helps their businesses thrive. It allows them to, pay less taxes, whatever it is. There's always an agenda, and that's what the NBA players have to find. They have to find a way to attack the proper agenda. Money. That's what makes the world go around, man. That's what got everybody's attention yesterday. You stop the games, and whoa, that's never been done. A long time ago, the AFL had a All-Star game. I'm trying to remember the city that the All-Star game was set for. It might have been Houston, or I'm not sure, but there was a racial issue, and the players boycotted the game. I believe they went to play it in New Orleans, and they played the AFL game back. This was mid-'60s, something like that, and they went and played the game in New Orleans. And that's because the players said, no, we're not playing there in that city because of I forgot what it was, but I remember that the boycott of an all-star game, the league was like, whoa, wait a minute, no, we're going to move it, and you got it there?
In January 1965, 21 blacks made history by forcing the AFL All-Star game out of New Orleans.
Out of New Orleans, and then to where?
Nevertheless, it was time.
I thought they went to New Orleans. It was out of New Orleans, and they went somewhere else. I told you mid-'60s. I had New Orleans. I'm missing the other city. I can't remember everything, bro. You know what I mean? But it's just, and that's not even my time. I was born in '66, but I'm a football, in a way, a little bit of a football historian. I love, the history of football and everything that's gone on. So I've followed it, a lot of it. But remind me what city they went to. Did they go to Memphis then? If it's not Houston? Man, I forgot which one it was. But it should say it there, dude.
No, because it's getting in detail about people trying to get cabs and why cab drivers not wanting to pick up the black players.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so give me a minute.
But it had to be at the top where they moved it, right? That they moved it out of New Orleans?
No, because it was the opening of the story, and then they're going into detail what transpired minute by minute. I mean, they did this like 24 hours before the game was supposed to go off.
All right. Well, just put on the thing, where did the AFL move the All-Star game in 1965 to? And that's it. It'll give you the answer. I mean, but that's what they're going to have to figure out now. That next step for all players, not just NBA, because now you're going to get football involved. Remember, football started the kneeling. It started with Colin Kaepernick. So football is going to be involved. Pete Carroll even, kind of initiated and said, hey, don't be surprised if this affects our sport. And that's where, Troy Ortiz is saying Phoenix. They moved it to Phoenix? God, I don't remember that part of the story. That sounds weird. Troy. They moved it to Phoenix? That doesn't sound, I'm like, wow. Then I need to refresh and read that story again because I don't remember Phoenix being in the mix. That's awesome. But we'll see. That's the interesting part, is where do you hurt them now? How do you get them to help you make a difference? Hey, listen, by them protesting, the state of Wisconsin is going to initiate an investigation already. So that's a good thing that they're already going to work on an investigation and hopefully find find these officers guilty that killed Jacob Blake. It would be nice. So they've already made an impact with the protest because they got Wisconsin's attention, and now they're going to look into this thing. It's a disgusting scene. Let's see. Troy says, my bad. Oh, I was thinking of a different situation. Okay. Good morning, Big O. Land from Michigan. Kenneth Cleveland here. Some potential special guests for the Boom Boom Room. Charlize Theron, Margot Robbie, Selma Hayek, and Lily, the AT&T girl. Big fan of the last two. Selma Hayek and Lily, the AT&T girl. Margot Robbie's hot too, but I'm just saying. I'm a huge Selma Hayek fan. Man, that woman is. Good Lord, I'll tell you, when the good Lord was like designing Halle Berry and Selma Hayek, it was just like, all right, let me design something to make all men suffer. That's just like, that's it. That's all you can do. NBA players have decided to resume the playoffs. Oh, really? Woj already reported that? Let me see. Let's see what we got here, which is good because that's what Woj was reporting. NBA players have decided to resume the playoffs, sources tell ESPN. Today, the 3 playoff games will be postponed. Sources tell ESPN discussions underway on when teams will resume play. And that's because a lot of guys stayed late last night. Then they met this morning. And so it kind of took everybody out of their rhythm. So whoever was going to play today and tonight, it was going to be a little tougher for them. So kind of give them another day to rest. Can I say something selfishly? Are you ready for it?
Go for it.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I say something really, 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 really selfish? Jimmy Butler now gets 6 days off. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. That's the text line if you want to get in. Was that selfish? That was selfish, right? That was selfish.
Well,
it's a great point on my part, but it's selfish.
Look, us as heaters, we were rooting for the Magic, right? To extend so Jimmy's shoulder could get, a little more rest.
Yeah. Something else happened.
You know what?
Yeah.
Divine intervention, whatever you want to, they're doing the right thing.
Yep.
They keep a platform, and they could get a bigger message out.
Troy says, why don't cops ever learn after everything we've been through? They keep shooting unarmed black people. Troy, you gotta understand, it's not that the cops did not learn. I think most cops are good. I just think you have a certain section of society that's racist. And they become judges, they become cops, they become broadcasters, they become teachers, they become principals, they become mechanics. It's just the way it is. And so when you have somebody that is racially motivated and it comes naturally to them because that's what they are, these are the end results. Okay? Think about it. How twisted of a mind do you have that you're going to shoot a man 7 times in the back while he's going into a car with his kids? He has no weapon. Look, it would be unacceptable, but if he just shot him in the leg and he actually could tackle him after, still wrong, but damn. 1 shot at least, I'm trying to stop him. Boom. 7 shots? That's like the killer that stabs somebody 47 times. Okay, whoa. There's something wrong there. It's bad when you stab somebody, right? But maybe you might be fighting. It might be a moment of, you got a little out of control and 1 stab. You do it 47 times. There's some deep issues there. You shoot a person 7 times with their back turned to you. That's
cowardice.
No, it's beyond that, bro. That's a nice word. I hope it's just that he's a coward.
You know what's really...
I can't believe that he's just a coward. I believe that he's a hateful human being.
You know
what
what's
he is.
pissing me off is that we're still not getting information about the cops involved in this.
Well, because you never do, because blue protects blue. But that's what we have to stop, and that's what we're stopping now.
No, but with the Minnesota situation and George, we knew that the guy had 20 reprimands. We knew the four police.
It still took a while.
Yeah,
it took several weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think you remember that. It took several weeks. It took a couple weeks to get the first guy. Then it took them like 2 months or a month and a half to get the rest of the guys.
Charges, but we had an idea of who was involved.
Okay, but okay.
That's my point. We don't even know who's involved.
Right. Well, you know what? We didn't get the name of the guy that
You're talking
threw
about
the girl
charges.
down for a couple days either. The big
guy. Yeah,
the big
when the other officer ran after.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those
That
processes.
set off the tear gas.
Yeah.
That's when the tear gas started in Fort Lauderdale.
Right. It's just, listen, this is part of the game. But the thing is that all of this stuff that's gone on, you can't hide this anymore.
You know what's sad,
and
right?
You can't hide the cop anymore, and you can't protect the cop anymore, and that's what's ending. You know, again, slowly, but it's happening. It's happening.
You know what's sad? From the police department standpoint all over the country, none of them have stepped up and said, you know what, we need to do an internal evaluation and go officer by officer and see which ones have a record of excessive force, you know, the racial issues. Nobody has stepped up, none of them, and say, hey, we're going to do something about this.
Well, because, again,
that's weak.
They have two.
That's pathetic.
Because it also becomes money. Because then they don't want to admit to anything, because then that opens up lawsuits and people lose their jobs and they lose their pensions. And so there's a lot of, again, money.
I'm not talking about
money.
Investigating and trying. I'm talking about just you going and evaluating the employees you have, your officers.
But you're going to have to get a third party, an independent group to do that, because they're not going to do it within, because then everybody knows everybody's dirt inside.
You know what? What are our elected officials doing? The councilmen is like somebody needs to step and take the torch and do something.
Well, that's what they're trying to do now, and that's
it. Doesn't seem like it,
well, obviously, this is why we have
stop
this
dragging
issue.
your feet, people.
That's why
do
we have
something.
this issue, man.
We voted for you. You know.
Yeah, Cletor says shooting an enemy combatant in war in the back is considered a war crime. That's right. You're right about that. How twisted is that, right? You are 1,000% right. That's a great point.
By the way, your 65 AFL game got moved to Houston.
Oh,
and
so
they
I was
played
right.
it at Jefferson Stadium.
So I was right all the way.
Yes.
I just had the cities reversed. I
right.
said Houston and New Orleans is New Orleans and Houston.
It didn't go from Houston to New Orleans. It went from NOR over to HOU.
All right, give me a little love here, okay? I said mid-60s.
Dude, you were just 180
Houston,
degrees
New
in the wrong
Orleans.
direction. Flip it.
I just
Flip it.
I had to switch the cups.
Hey,
That's
we're
it.
not going east. We ended up going west.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. Tell you, man. So just a tough one, man. So it'll be interesting to see now what the next step is for them. Because, again, you have to follow the money. And that's what they have to learn. Because you're not going to reach them with logic, right? Because obviously you tell people, well, wait a minute, you think it's normal to shoot somebody 7 times in the back? Well, you shouldn't run away from the cops. Okay, so you run away from the cops. You tackle them, dude. You got 3 people there. You're going to hold them down. And then you handcuff him. It's over. He doesn't have a weapon. You're fine. No, but you got to obey the cops. Okay, fine. I get it. Most of us obey the cops. But not everybody's going to obey the cops. Not everybody's going to follow the law. You know, that's just the way things are in life. Okay? And by the way, George Floyd followed the law, and he ended up dead. Okay?
You know what?
I just want to remind you, anybody that tells you, oh, well, you should follow the law, you mean like George Floyd? Like George Floyd never fought anybody. He let him get handcuffed.
He went from the car to the wall, sat
ground.
down to the ground. Then they're taking him to the car, and then they get violent.
And then, yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about. That's the thing.
And this is while he's in handcuffs.
Right. This is, so, you know, it's just, to me, when you start going in that direction, I just kind of feel you're racist.
You know what, Ode? You're right.
You know what I mean?
To elaborate.
Oh, no, you know, you got to obey, you know? What do you mean you got to obey, dude? But that doesn't mean you shoot him 7 times.
To elaborate on your idea, you know what?
So either you get shot 7 times or they choke you out to death. Which one is it? Right? But there's never really a good explanation for that. It's just, oh, no, because you got to do it. Oh, because this. There's never an explanation for it because there is no explanation for shooting an unarmed human being 7 times in the back, no matter what's going on, that they disobeyed you. Now, if he's, pointing a gun at you and swinging a machete and whatever, well, then, yeah, shoot him 77 times if you want, okay? If your life is on the line and that guy's going to kill you, shoot him up, dude. But that guy wasn't killing anybody at that moment. And he should have never even gotten to the car. Like I said it yesterday, the wrong people are cops, okay? There's a lot of good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones, and you've got to get rid of those. And that guy there that shot shot Jacob is definitely one of those kind of guys. He doesn't belong on a force and wearing a badge.
To elaborate on your idea, because look, we see it at clubs. They use cops at the door. We see it at hotels, especially like us around Miami with all the issues with that the hotels use police officers and they want marked cars. They want to see police presence in front of the hotels to keep away crime, trying to victimize tourists. You see it at supermarkets, on the port. We used to use Metro-Dade, and the cruise lines would have Metro-Dade officers in uniform, cars parked out in front, when you're going through the screening to get on the boat and stuff. If all the businesses got together, everybody, and said, no more police, and it hit them, like you said, in the pocket, and all the businesses said, we're not using you anymore, we're going to go private, that would have impact.
Yeah, it would.
And this needs to spread. Businesses need to, you know what, we don't want you here.
Oh, that's
to change their. I love your idea, bro.
It has to. You have to find a way. But
the only place that opens people's eyes, like you said, is
money.
Hit them in the pocket.
Money.
Man. That's
money.
it.
Money's the only thing that gets people
that
talking.
stirs reaction.
And that's the one thing that gets people motivated. All right, let's take a break. 1 hour down. We got a couple more to go, I think. We're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by and say hi. Don't forget, one of our proud sponsors is EJD Construction. A couple of our listeners have already called EJD Construction. And listen, I've witnessed it many times already with Eric. He and his staff are just amazing. Whether you want to add an addition to your home, you want to build up that man cave, improve the kitchen, redo the front yard, put a fountain, whatever. They
could do the James Bond stuff.
Anything, yeah, James Bond stuff. You want the TV coming out of the roof, they can do all of that. Call EJD Construction, 305-433-4843, folks. AAA rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. Eric's been at this since 2004. They've been serving Dade and Broward County for a long, long time. Give them a ring, 305-433-4843. The IG account, EJD_construction. You can see a lot of the before and after pictures there. They do amazing work, man. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. EJD Construction, 305-433-4843, EJDconstruction.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Just in the last couple months, going back to Ahmaud Arbery, Mr. Floyd, you had the young lady who was screaming at the black guy in New York. Now you got Mr. Blake who just got shot. It's something all the time. I admire these guys for standing up, but Wolf, it's exhausting being black because there's a double standard when you're black. Because I have to comment on everything that happens in the black community. And it just gets, same thing with LeBron, who's our most prominent player. But man, it's just, you get tired of something all the time.
That is Charles Barkley. And again, I can't necessarily disagree with the man because he's right. And it's... I'm not watching a Cuban man or woman get shot every other week, by cops. And some tells me that the Cuban community would be raising some hell if that was going on too, right? So I got no problem with what's going on, man, because I see it. I mean, it's just pretty much, it's automatic. It's obvious. What? You weren't, you're not old enough, but McDuffie was beaten with flashlights by 5 officers. This isn't anything new or anything like that. Problem is, it went on forever without any cameras. So now all of a sudden the technology has been able to catch up and there's a camera everywhere. Now we're fortunate that we can catch some of these scums doing all of this. Some of these criminals. They're just wearing badges, but they're criminals. You know what I mean? I always love...
no, like we pointed out many times...
Scam likely. I love that.
Keep the cameras rolling. It's the only reason these things are being brought to light.
Yes.
Oh, he got grabbed by Greta. Greta grabbed him.
Greta's my ringer. I love those scams. I never... If it doesn't have a name on it, I don't know about you guys. This fool answers every phone. He's an idiot. But
no, that's not true, dude.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. You get mad at me because you'll call me, dude. I don't answer.
He answers every call. I'm telling you, dude.
That is not true.
And I swear, and in front of me, I've seen it. At least 70% of the time, it's just some clown selling something. I'm telling you, dude, if it's not in your address book, don't answer. Let them leave. If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail. The salespeople never leave a voicemail.
That is so not, because he gets mad at me for somebody, like, why didn't you answer the phone? I didn't know who it was. Well, they're calling for the show. Well, they're not in my address book. Name didn't come up. Just a number. Sorry.
What a cheap excuse. That's a scheduled call.
This guy is
That's a scheduled call. Like the Cascos was calling you at 10:15.
I answered the phone.
Of course, you got to answer that.
No.
Actually, they called you at 10:10, and you were like, hey, no, they're calling you early.
Yeah. No, but you've gotten mad at me because of not answering. Don't even go there, bro.
He answers every
You know what? This
call.
is just like
every call he answers.
This is just like going from Houston to New Orleans. Now we're going New Orleans to Houston.
He's got like 8
180,
teams, and
buddy.
he answers every call.
180, baby.
In every sport. Jacques Bethune says, it's crazy when you get shot in front of your whole family. How about it's crazy to get shot? Okay? How about that? How about it's just crazy to get shot? No matter what. Let's see. RNC theme is 99% of cops are good. Just need dialogue. Nothing to see here. I know. It's just whatever. What are you going to do, man? James Sumler, thank you, sir, with the little super chat. Very kind of you, James. Thank you so much, man, sending us a super chat. Very nice of you, sir. Plus, you sent me a sticker. You know I love the stickers. It says thank you very much. It's got like one of those, like a Kung Fu Master type of thank you. So that is very cool. Appreciate you there. Josh says the resumption of playoff games could come as soon as Friday, but there is expected to be a return to this season by the weekend. Source tells ESPN, reported by Woj. Josh just put that on the chat board. So, yeah, I figured that we'll get the game starting tomorrow. And now the question is, how does this affect everything down the line? You know what I mean? And, boy, let me tell you, the guy that must be crapping in his pants right now is Jerry Jones. And I got to tell you something. I want to be in the office when Jerry Jones approaches Don Terry Poe and says, well, hey, can we kneel before the national anthem? I can't wait for that. Somebody tell that old-ass 1900s dude that still lives on a plantation to shut the hell up already. People tell me all the time that Jerry Jones isn't racist, and all he does is give me the examples that he is racist. He gives Tony Romo a contract anytime he needs it, even when he doesn't deserve it, even when he chokes. And meanwhile, Dak Prescott can't get a contract if his life depended on it, and he gave you 4 years as a fourth rounder, where you stole money from him because you barely paid him to be your starting quarterback. The guy wins. The guy's an exceptional human being. The guy has gotten better throughout his career. You're never going to get that 2 a.m. phone call, Coach, I got arrested. Coach, I hit my wife. You're not going to get any of that from Dak. He's an exceptional person. Yet, somehow or another, it's like pulling teeth. And this whole, the whole national anthem thing, the guy never came out anything for the Black Lives Movement. Never. I mean, most of the owners haven't in the NFL. But it's just, and now you're going to tell the players to not kneel during the national anthem? Oh, my Lord. I hope so many Cowboys tell him to go F himself. And I wish I have video of it too. You know what I mean? Because it's you know how insulting it is to tell a black athlete, no, hey, listen, I want you to kneel before the national anthem. That athlete should be this close to punching out Jerry Jones. And that guy just needs to shut the hell up already. And no matter what anybody tells me, and I've had Newey Scruggs on, and he's been close to the situation. He's convinced he's not. And I'd love to see examples personally of it, because every time he's put nationally in a position to actually show some understanding for his fellow man, he fails. Because at this point, if you're still making it about the military, you don't get it, or you don't want to get it. Which one is it? Are you ignorant, or are you a racist? Which one is it? Right? At this point, if you still think kneeling is about the flag in the military, I got 2 questions. Are you ignorant, or are you racist? Which one is it? That's what it is. Because if you've heard the explanation, I get it when we first started, and we were talking about it with Colin 4 years ago, and I had to do it for 4 years ago because I was all for the kneeling. I had no problem with it. I understood what they were doing because common sense shows you. I mean, since I was a kid, I told you about McDuffie. I lived it down here. I was around for it. Luckily, for those officers, we didn't have camera phones. If not, they're probably all in jail because they beat that man with flashlights. They beat him to death with flashlights. 5 guys, 1 man. Come on. been going on forever. So at this point, if you don't know what they're kneeling for, I can't help you anymore. I can't explain it anymore. You refuse to understand. You refuse to be flexible. That's ignorant. Or you're just racist. And you're all right with the killing of black people for no reason at all. That's it. There's no other way to look at it for me at all. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. John Rouse in the house says, Big O, you said money talks. I believe you. If they all start kneeling, you will lose half of your fan support. That's a lot of money. That's how it goes, bro. That's how it goes, John. Sacrifices have to be made, my brother. That's what life is all about. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So half the people want to go, and because they disagree, then so be it, my man. That's the way it goes. But I'm not going to do this show and walk eggshells. I never did it on terrestrial radio. On terrestrial radio, I never did it. I never held back on terrestrial radio. So why would I hold back now? Why? Because I'm trying to keep somebody on my side? What, I'm not going to speak my mind? No, dude. That's not the reason why people listen to my show, at least, it's because I speak my mind. And maybe I might piss you off sometimes, but I'm certainly going to make you think a lot about what I'm pissing you off about. And you might be frustrated and you might be pissed, but deep down inside, you might know, I hate it, but he might be right. I hate it, but he might be speaking the truth. That's all. So if somebody can't handle the truth, I can't help you with that. And if you want to unfollow and you don't want to listen because of that, then so be it, man. But that's never been me. I never was like that with sports. I'm not going to be like that with life. I'm not going to be like that with love. I'm not going to be like that for politics. Okay? In sports, I never played the side of, well, let's just spin everything positive, so that way I always keep the fans happy. No, that's never been my style. I'll tell you the truth, and if you're a hardcore blind-ass fan, you will be very pissed off with me at times. But then later on, after you noticed that I told you over and over and over again that Sperano was terrible, you then realized it, and then now, you know, or Cam Cameron, or if I said that Joe Philbin was never, the day they hired him, I said he sucked. The day they hired him, I said he would fail. People hated me for that because I never gave him a chance, because I kind of knew the history already about him. I knew people in the Green Bay organization. They told me all about his personality. And I said, whoa, that doesn't fly with men. And they go, yeah, I don't understand why they're hiring him as a head coach. That's what people were telling me in the Green Bay organization. They go, he's an assistant coach by far. He cannot lead men. They were right. But I trust the people in the Green Bay organization. I knew 3 different people in that organization. So, you know, that's never been me, John. I don't worry about consequences of people's feelings. Don't do radio then. You know what I mean? If you're worried about that, then don't do radio. In radio, you're going to be criticized no matter what you say. Half the people are going to hate what you say, and half the people are going to love what you say. No matter what it is. I could keep telling you, no, that, you know, it's a gray sky right now all over, and it's blue. But no, there'll be half the people, yeah, no, it's gray. He's right. It's just the way it is. So that's not my style. If you listen to me long enough, I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and I'm not worried about what the hell you think. And I'm not worried about what, you know, whether you like it or you don't like it. You know, I'm more worried about, I said what I wanted to say, I got it off my chest, and now I feel good about it. No regrets. The regret would be that I didn't express myself. The regret would be that I didn't send the message that I wanted to send. Okay? That would be the bigger regret. John Rouse, thank you, my brother, for a super chat. He goes, I didn't mean your show, Big O. I meant football fans support pro football. Oh, well, that's, what are you going to do, man? Yeah, and out of all the sports, John, you nailed that one, because that's the one that has more of the hardcore conservative types and all that stuff following that sport. There's more liberals following basketball, obviously. So, yeah, you're right. They're going to lose some, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? And the bigger problem, John, it's not – I don't think it's the players or even some of the coaches that are worried about that. It would be the old white owners that think the same way.
Hey,
those are the ones that might be worried about what you're talking about, because they're part of that group. They cater to that group, Jerry Jones. So, yeah, maybe he's the one that's worried. That's why he wants to kneel before the anthem and all that and, make everybody their circus clowns, because that's what he did to the players the last time. He made them circus clowns.
We haven't seen John in a while. Last time we saw him, he came bearing air conditioners, right?
That's right.
Stop by and say hi, brother.
That's right. Tomorrow.
We miss you, man.
Tomorrow. That's right, John. Get your ass by here.
And you don't have to bring the air conditioners.
Jerry Jones is both ignorant and racist. He leaves his KKK outfit in the closet a majority of the time. DJ Lloyd says the Cowboy players won't kneel because they know where Jones stands on this issue, but yet they signed to play in Dallas. Well, DJ Lloyd, that was the thinking before. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I would bet you anything you want, you're going to see players kneel. I don't know about all of them, but instead of seeing no players like it's been in the past, I bet you anything a bunch of players will be kneeling during the national anthem, and they'll be sticking it to Jerry Jones and saying, go ahead, cut me now. Let's see what you do. And Steven's going to look at him and say, Jerry, Dad, you better calm the hell down. There's bad PR for us. Shut the hell up. But we'll see. It'll be fun. But guaranteed, okay, guaranteed, I'll bet anything Dallas players start kneeling this year.
By the way, Vegas is listening, and they have a line of how many players are going to kneel at the first game.
Do they really? Or are you just joking off?
Come on, man.
No, they should.
I'm trying to make a light.
No, but that's
a hard day.
That's a great side bet.
Right?
That's a great prop, as they say.
Yeah.
That's a great prop.
How many players from the Cowboys
out of the
are going to be on
55, right? It's 55 now, not 53?
That is correct. Yes.
So out of the 55, how many will kneel? And I bet you well over 25 will kneel. Okay?
I hope it's 55.
Yep. Pat in Asheville says, oh, it's me. Pick up the phone. I need a Super Chat payday loan.
Sorry, Jerry Jones has got all the lines tied up. He doesn't like what I was saying.
What else do we have? All I want is change, but some people said that people like Jacob Blake are the problem. That bothers me. Yeah, no, that's we all get it, Alex. Everybody, you'll run into somebody. Well, no, but Jacob Blake was running away. Okay, so that means he should get shot 7 times in the back? No, you got to obey the police. You got to obey. Send it in, 786-322-1105. We'll answer the text line when we come back on the other side, right here on the Big O Show, live from Toyota of Hollywood.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Back. Coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood. Come on out here, man. I was just talking to Herbie Lopez. Great people. If you're looking to buy or lease a vehicle, 1841 North State Road 7. Steve Ostrov does a great job. And if you own an Acura, own or lease a Toyota, you can get it serviced here. Go see my man Sonny. He will definitely take care of you. I was just talking to Sonny a little while ago, as I'm getting something installed in my car. So
your breath is normal. It only took an hour and 20 minutes from you running around the size of this place.
Yes. This place is ginormous, dude. This place is just big, man. And these two Supras that are in front of me are absolutely nasty.
Here, you take the red one. I'll take the black one.
Yeah, why not?
What do you think?
Oh, I definitely want the red one.
And I knew that.
Here on the text line, I like your idea on limited tenures for cops. However, that salary doesn't work. We can't pay public servants that much money for the amount of cops that we need. The military now actually makes good money now. You can pay them in a similar way, but $150K is too much. Well, that's because we're talking about specially trained individuals, okay? Not a couple of slobs that ran around a track and jumped over a fence and say, hey, you're now a cop. No. Okay, that's what I'm. Remember, you're going to be training for a couple of years before you become a cop. You don't become a cop after a 12-week session. Okay, this is something that takes a while, and so that's why, if you pay them serious money, then they are less likely to be dirty. They are less likely to give you a half-ass days of work, because what you're paying them now is not worth putting their lives on the line. And they know it, okay? You pay them this, and they can't do overtime. And they gotta focus on what they do to become great at what they do. And these are people that you test. That's why I say you pay them a hefty salary, because you have a short lifespan. Remember, with the pension, you end up paying a lot more money, too, down the line. No pension. It's 10 years straight. You make your money. You're done. We use you at your peak for 10 years. You don't burn out because you're there for 20, 25. And when you burn out, you get older, you get fatter, you get lazier, and then you do things like shooting people in the back 7 times. Okay? All right? Because you're not physically fit, you're not mentally capable, and you're not well trained. And that's why people die. And if you're racist, that's why black people will continue to die. Okay?
After the two of you get your asses beat, you shoot a guy that's running away from the two of you.
Yeah, that's why I feel you have to pay them really good money for a short amount of time. Okay? Hey, plenty of us have to switch careers after a couple of years. Plenty of you out there have had 4 or 5 different careers in your lifetime, that you did different things throughout your life for a certain period of time. I have a friend of mine that is like maybe on his 8th career. And he's like he works something for 4 or 5 years, and then he changes. Because he says, I get bored of what I'm doing if I do it for a long time. Makes a lot of sense, actually. Question is, I'm amazed that he finds something new that he likes to do. I don't have a lot of options. There are a lot of things I like to do. So I kind of love this kind of business. I don't love the people that are in the business sometimes. That's why I'm kind of doing this instead and more controlling this and working with Inter, doing another great project where I'm kind of out of that political BS crap that goes on with terrestrial radio, But anyway, so that's why I say if you're going to specialize it, you have to then pay them the right way. So that way you can avoid dirty cops, lazy cops, racist cops, the wrong cops. We don't have qualified immunity. Rules of engagement and deadly force is last resort. If we don't follow procedures, we will face charges and get discharged. When they have something to lose, it changes the game. Always good to listen to you, my friend. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. You're right, because the point he was making, he says, I didn't read the one sentence in front of you. He says, main thing is to make them have skin in the game like in the military. We don't have qualified immunity. Rules of engagement and deadly force is last resort. If we don't follow procedures, we will face charges and get discharged. When they have something to lose, it changes the game. Always good to listen. And this is why you've got to find these cops that are doing dirty things. They've never been found guilty. They're never sent to jail. So over the decades, blue has covered up for blue. So the good blue has to expose the bad blue. Okay? And then whenever the bad blue arises, we need to make sure that those people are found guilty and that they serve time. That way you send a message to the rest of the cops that this is unacceptable. But that's part of the game. Kenneth Cleveland, his second super chat of the day. Thank you, sir. Big O, here's the interview list for the Boom Boom Room. Selma Hayek, Halle Berry, the AT&T girl, the Sprint girl, Rosario Dawson. Not bad. The Sprint girl. Which is the Sprint girl? I'm trying to think of because isn't Sprint using the Verizon guy? Like the what's that? Can you hear me now, guy? That's what I think Sprint is using now. I don't know. Sprint girl. Which is the Sprint girl? Man, I don't know that one. I gotta look that one up, Kenneth. I'm intrigued. AT&T girl, I know.
I don't hear any requests for Flo.
Huh?
I don't hear any requests for Flo.
Oh, yeah. Manny Machine says, Browns placed rookie DE Curtis Weaver on injured reserve with a foot injury, but Weaver was drafted by the Dolphins. And he's asking a question. Manny, where you been, bro? We've been talking about that the last couple of days. I think you need to go to the podcast from yesterday and the day before, my man. Qualifying immunity is what keeps cops crooked. End it, and the dirty cops will leave overnight. Well, somehow or another, they need to pay a price. So if that's what it takes, then do it. Let's see. What else do we have? What do we have here? The latest footage shows that Blake reached in his car and grabbed a knife. Still no reason for bullets. Why they didn't have a taser or pepper spray. He's not supposed to get to the car. There's 3 guys there. Tackle his ass. That's my point, that they're not athletic enough. It's like the 2 guys in the Wendy's that ended up shooting the guy, and he's running away. And the only reason they shot him is because they got their asses kicked. Like I said 100 times already, the Wendy's one is a perfect example. This is worse than the Jacob one because he fought the cops, he kicked their ass, and he took their taser, right? So the second he runs away, I said this 100 times already, those 2 cops, you have to take a step back and realize, okay, this guy just kicked both our asses. Should we now chase him? That's probably not going to end the right way because we can't beat him. So why would we chase him? Let's do this. He's taken off with a taser. He's drunk or whatever. Let him go, dude. Let me go call for backup. He can't get far. We'll surround the neighborhood. We'll catch the guy. We'll subdue him, and it's over. Instead, you freaking shoot him up. And why did you shoot him up? Because you panicked, because you're not a good officer, because you're not well trained, because you got your ass kicked, and because you were embarrassed, you had to take it out on him by shooting a guy.
You wake up a drunk
shooting
guy.
a guy that wasn't even shooting at you either, because like when you shot the taser, you shot it like up in the air or whatever. But again, you panicked. You ran after a guy. You had no other alternative. Remember, those cops knew they could not fight him anymore. Okay? Because he was better than they are in that. So at that point, you knew you were helpless. So the only thing that guy could do was panic and what? Shoot him. That's not a good cop. The idea is to actually capture people as much as possible without killing them. Okay? And especially if they're not really threatening you with death at the moment. But that's fine. People, they want to look at that situation and, oh no, he's, it's just like this last one with Jacob. So, same thing, man.
It's like it's qualified. Just a little. They wake him up. He's passed out drunk.
Right.
He beats them up. Well, then, wait a minute. They have him move the car. They wake up a drunk guy and let him go park the car.
Right.
That doesn't sound like a qualified officer.
Oh, look at this, Rene Lopez. And they tackle the guy. The media comes out saying white cops beat the black guy. Can't have both ways. Well, let me ask you something. Is it better to just tackle the guy and rough him up and handcuff him, or better to shoot him 7 times in the back? Which one is it, Rene? Please answer that. Show me that you have some common sense and you're not really that stupid, Rene. Tell me. Are you that dumb? Are you that ignorant, bro? Or are you that racist? Which one is it, Rene? Boy, because that's one ignorant statement. Oh, well, then the media says that they beat up the guy. Well, the guy was running away from the cops. You tackle him. You put handcuffs on him. There's 3 of you. You easily should be able to restrain him. You restrain him, you throw him in the car, and you go back to the station, and you put him in jail, and the rest is history. Shooting him 7 times in the back? Come on, man. The fact that you let him get to the car was weak. It shows that they're incompetent. Again, I run into the Renes of the world like crazy. These are just people that, to them, black people don't matter, bro. They don't matter at all. That's all it is. That's what this Rene Lopez guy is. A guy that doesn't care about black people. Ian from Brooklyn, thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Rene, it's better to be thought of as an idiot than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Amen to that, bro. Amen. No. Hey, Rene, I'm not racist. No, bro, you are as racist as they come, my man. If that's what you're thinking, you're racist. Because to you, that guy's life doesn't matter whatsoever. To you, you were worried about the media talking about him beating up the guy because he ran away from the cops. Dude, if you run away from the cops and they tie you down, they got to rough you up, that's your fault. I don't blame the cops for that. But I'm going to blame the cops if you can't stop a guy when you're 3-1 and you let him get to the truck and then you shoot him 7 times in the back. Think about it. You just shoot him once in the leg. At least he won't go anywhere. Now you could drag him out, which is still not acceptable. But 7 times? If you try to justify this in any way, shape, or form, you're racist. That's it. DJ Lloyd, Rene is an animal. He's not a human being. Rene, brother, it's pretty disgusting. Gus 1388. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Yep, there you go. And he goes, bye, Rene. I guess they must be blocking you.
The listeners are blocking you. You didn't get a chance to?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Everything that happened at that scene was Blake's fault. Yeah. Let's just.
The way you said that, I thought somebody was putting that on the chat board. I'm like,
he did. No, he put it on the chat board.
He did.
Yeah, he put it on the chat board. Not that he'll ever be able to put anything else on the chat board because you know what's happened already.
This guy is.
Yeah, but you have these people, bro. You have losers like Rene Lopez. You know, Rene Lopez is a racist dude. That's all. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody. That's why he says that.
You're a piece of.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody else kind of exposed him as it is, like it usually happens on this show. All right? We're not going to allow you to just keep going like that. I don't know if you said it yet, but the reason is that you can shoot an unarmed black man, but when a white man runs down the street with a gun, he can walk right past the police, and he shot 3 people. Oh, I know. It's completely different. I've seen, you've seen that video of the white dude with the machete, and like they didn't shoot him or anything. There's a lot of those examples out. You see it on social media. They'll show you the unarmed black man that does nothing whatsoever, ends up dead. And then there's a white dude brandishing a gun, a knife, a machete, whatever, and they do whatever they can to subdue the guy. It's amazing. And that would never happen if he was black. That guy wouldn't even have a chance to just brandish whatever he has. That's how ridiculous it is. So don't worry. Well, you guys don't have to worry about racist Lopez anymore. Racist Lopez is gone. John Rouse says Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But the problem is that right now we got to focus on Black Lives Matter. Why? Because we're not seeing Asians being shot in the middle of the street. We're not watching Hispanics being shot in the middle of the street. That's the problem, John. All lives matter. I know that. You know what I mean? But it's not Hispanics. And I'm Hispanic. It's not a Hispanic man that's constantly getting shot for no reason. It's not an Asian man that's constantly getting shot for no reason. That's the problem. You know what I mean? LGBT community. It's not the Asian community. It's not the Hispanic community that gets the hateful rhetoric and acts of hate that the LGBT community has. But, you know, there's Asians have to deal with certain things. Our Jewish friends have to deal with all kinds of anti-Semitism. You know, all kinds of minorities suffer some kind of bias in one way or another. But it's minor compared to what's going on in the black community, what goes on in the LGBT community, what goes on in the Jewish community. You know what I mean? So, yeah, us Hispanics and Asians and all kinds of people suffer some kind of, you know, racist, bias type of acts, but nothing like what goes on in the black community. So it's not a matter of saying that one kind of life matters. It's just we're trying to focus on this one right now because it's so egregious, it's so disgusting, it's so irresponsible that you got to do something about it. That's the reason. So it's not a matter of that every life matters. We know every life matters. But why is it that one type of life matters less than others? That's the question that we've got to answer. James says, you don't deserve to die just because you have a warrant or an arrest record. Of course not. Let's see. All lives do matter. It's just seemingly time and time again, black lives don't matter, so we must emphasize. Thank you very much, Zoe Vegas 75. I think this is the first time I've read a comment on the board from you. Welcome aboard. You might be watching a lot, but thank you for participating. Always love the participation. Wahido 77 says, LOL. So if you don't agree, you're a racist? No, not really. That's not true. I just think that if you try to justify that shooting, I think there's a racist in you. That's all. It's pretty simple. It's not a matter of disagreeing. I don't know how you justify shooting a guy 7 times in the back.
Yeah, you're defending that action. I'm sorry, there's no justification.
Right.
There's no way, shape, or form.
No, nothing. So Wahido77, if you want to justify shooting an unarmed man 7 times in the back, and you should have at least stopped him before he got to the truck, because that's a terrible cop, by the way. That's the other thing. How do you allow any kind of suspect getting away from you to get an advantage on you? Right? And again, this is why I told you, you got to get these guys, keep them for 10 years, build them up, have them in great shape. No fat ass cops anymore. Okay? There's no stopping in Dunkin' Donuts or anything like that. In fact, you should have a GPS on every cop that they get reported if their car pulls into a Dunkin' Donuts. Okay? All right? That's what I'm talking about. We're going to pay you a lot of money. You're going to take care of yourself, and you're going to be in tip-top shape, and you're going to be mentally sharp, physically sharp, and not one racist piece of you inside. All right? Big O, tell Bill Flo won't make it past the front door at the Boom Boom Room. Big booty matters in the Boom Boom Room. Kenneth in Cleveland with another super chat. That's 3 today.
I was going to say, I figured he'd have security at the gate and not even let her on the premises.
You should ask for the security job there, bro. That sounds like a good place to be a security guard. Alex goes, oh, I get real pissed off at these morons. You can't get pissed off, bro. What are you going to do about the racist Lopez? Can't do anything about that, bro. There's plenty of those racist Lopez. You know? Why didn't the guy who got shot not follow cops' orders and kept going inside the car? Well, they should have tackled him. He doesn't need to get shot 7 times. Either way, it doesn't justify it, Bromar, at all. I already got into this. People don't always follow orders. Last time I checked, a lot of people break laws. But you've got, as a police officer, you've got to find a way to avoid violence as much as possible. And so what do you do if you're 3 cops and 1 guy? You tackle them. You don't let him get to the car. That's all. Big O, no more Dunkin' Donuts. Then you would never be able to live out your dream and become a cop. That's true. That's true. But I don't want to become a cop if I can't have donuts. So that's out the book right there. But now we're going to eliminate that. Mr. SB 108. So it's Mr. NSB 108. So what's Mr. NSB? So NSB must be your first name, middle name, last name. Is that what that is? And then 108. You gotta fill me in here, man. What's all that stand for? Wow, we've been talking about Corona flu matters too. There you go. I don't know about the Corona stuff. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Well, thank you all out there for chiming in and supporting the show, as always. Did you guys see Daniel Snyder? He, one of you mentioned that story, and I had no idea about it at the moment because I guess it was breaking at that time. And so then I went back and went to look at this whole Daniel Snyder story. And apparently there's a nude cheerleaders video. He says it wasn't his doing. He says he never saw the video. So this is the story. Team owner Daniel Snyder strongly denying he had any role in the creation of a lewd cheerleaders video described in the Washington Post article. He says, I do not have any knowledge of the 10-year-old video reference in the story. I did not request their creation, and I never saw them. Snyder says the videos are not in the team's archives, and he believes that are either unauthorized or fraudulent. He says the team requested to see the videos from the Post to be forensically evaluated and authenticated, but the paper never sent over the footage. Snyder addresses that other allegations from the story involving gender discrimination and sexual harassment, saying he was unaware of the allegations until they surfaced in the media. I have admittedly been too hands-off as an owner and allowed others to have day-to-day control of the detriment of our organization. Yeah, because he's such a positive. Anyway, going forward, I am going to be more involved. Boy, that makes people look really forward to it. And we have already made major changes in personnel, bringing in new leadership to drive cultural transformation on and off the field. Snyder says he's also bringing a team of investigators to look into the allegations into the article. So apparently it was back in 2008, a Beauties on the Beach calendar where a video crew chronicled the making of a sexy bikini calendar. And according to the Post, team staffers used outtakes to put together a special secret cut featuring moments when the women inadvertently exposed their headlights in the course of the shoot. The Washington Post claims that they have obtained a copy of the video, but obviously the outlet is not publishing it. The Post reports the team's lead broadcaster, Larry Michael, played a major role in making of the lewd video, and his former staffer, Brad Baker, claims Michael told staffers the video was being made for team owner Daniel Snyder. For his part, Michael adamantly denies the allegations in the report, saying, "Nothing can be further from the truth. I was never asked to, nor did I ask someone to compile videos as described." Now, this guy is so hated that either they're going to find something that he really did, or they're going to try to tie something to him that he didn't do. You know, I don't know what it is, because do you know the truth? I don't know the truth. I wasn't there in 2008. I don't know if Snyder ordered the video or not, or maybe a staffer wanted to, impress the owner or, whatever. I have no idea. None whatsoever. But you can tell that Snyder's problems are pretty deep, and they better figure it out quickly, man. They better figure out what the hell is going on there. All right? And I'm sure the league so far is not putting an investigation from what I read last time, which was, I think, this morning. So I don't know how they're going to handle that. Interesting. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's our text line, 786-322-1105. The other thing that I would say, you know what I laugh at? I laugh at the people that say, well, I'm never going to watch the NFL. I'm never going to watch the NBA. You guys are all liars. Seriously. 99.999% of you're liars. If you love the NBA, the protesting, let's say you're really conservative and it pisses you off, whatever. So you'll be pissed off for a moment or two, and then you'll go back. Some guy sent me a tweet this morning. Well, I'm dropping sports. I'll be doing more Netflix and Amazon Prime and YouTube. And I said, good luck with that, brother. And I told him, hey, I'm actually going to save your tweet to make sure you never, ever ask me a sports question ever again. Okay?
And he's like an elephant.
So now, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So I'm just going to have fun with the guy now. I put it there in the save just to have a little fun, because I know that that's a lie. And I know all of you are lying. There's very few of you. If you grew up loving sports, you're going to continue to watch sports. Whether the baseball team, whether they strike in baseball, in football, in basketball, whatever, they come back, we watch. They put scrubs, we watch. They put the preseason, speaking of scrubs, we watch. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happens. Deflategate, Bullygate, strikes, you name it, lockouts, we end up watching. Okay? So this is, when you're a sports fan, you're always a sports fan pretty much. Unless you get, maybe really, really old to a point that you stop following it and you give up on it or something because you're a little too old or something. But most of us that are sports fans, we'll be going to sporting events till we can't go to sporting events pretty much. And when we can't, we'll sit in the couch and we'll move and we'll watch it. And then we'll get on our stinking walkers and go over to the fridge and grab something. And then we'll get back on our stinking walkers and inch back to the damn couch, and the entire quarter's done. But, we're back finally with a drink and we can watch like the last 2 minutes of the game.
That's a perfect example of my dad. Back in the day, the season tickets, all the Super Bowls, blah, and a couple games, playoffs, and then the last 15 year, it was the Jets game. When the Jets came to town, me and my dad would go.
Right.
You know what? The last 4 or 5 years, all the knee surgeries and stuff, my dad just.
But he's watching it.
No, but are you kidding me?
That's all.
At 12:30, he gets out there and he's ready for 1 o'clock kickoff.
It's lies. That's all. It's lies. And there are some of those people are frauds too. You know why? They never like sports anyways. And so they're just using it as an agenda like Trump. Oh, no NBA for me. You think Trump ever watched the NBA in the first place? He doesn't know anything about the NBA. He doesn't watch the NBA. He watches the NFL. Maybe some baseball because he's old and white.
Back in the day, he watched the Boston Celtics with all the white guys, and then.
But he's not watching basketball. So it's a great tool for him to say, "Oh no, no basketball for me." Dude, you were never watching basketball. That's the frauds. Frauds like him there's a bunch of frauds like you guys out there that are saying, "Oh, I'm never watching the game." You were never watching the games in the first place. Who are you kidding? That kind of stuff. So it's that's always the funny part about all of this situation. Can you turn off your mic, bro? And so, when we talk about this, these things, just don't lie. You're just full of crap, okay? If you love your Dolphins, you're going to love your Dolphins no matter what. Whether they strike, whether they kneel, whether they leave, whether they're replacements. I watched the damn replacement games because they had a Dolphins logo on it, and Shula was coaching them. I know some of you are too young because you've never experienced players holding out, in a lockout, and then scrubs taking over. So, don't give me this crap. Oh, I'm never going to watch sports again. Anybody that says that, you were never really a sports fan. There's so few of you that would actually do that. It's minimal. It's nothing. They will accumulate more new sports fans the following year to replace you 10 times over, basically. All right, let's take a break. We're headed into the final hour. 1841 North State Road 7. I do want to tell you about Mudias Dental. Great people, man. Eric Mudias. Look, you need any kind of dental work. You got to fill a cavity. You got a root canal. That's painful, but they do a great job there. Implant Invisaligns. I did it, too, to straighten out my teeth. Mudias Dental does an exceptional job, state-of-the-art equipment, family-owned, amazing people. Go see Eric. Tell him that I sent you. 305-821-0231. Save it on that cell phone. Make an appointment. Tell him Big O sent you. 305-821-0231. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Mudias Dental, and go to the website, mudiasdental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Call of Duty goes, as much as I am a Magic fan, I haven't seen a Magic game in 3 years. But isn't that an oxymoron there in Call of Duty? Then you're not a Magic fan, right? You can't say you're a big Magic fan and you haven't seen or watched a game or been to a game for 3 years. That doesn't make any sense. You mean you're no longer a fan anymore of the NBA then? That's what you're saying, right? Now, I'm not sure. Is it why? Why aren't you no longer a fan of the Magic? Did they frustrate the crap out of you because they constantly fall short? I don't know. You didn't make an excuse on why, but you can't be. You have to say, I used to be a Magic fan. I no longer go. Haven't been to one in 3 years. That's how you say it, because you can't call yourself a fan and then you don't watch. Then you were never really, you're not a real hardcore fan, right? Because if I live in San Francisco, I made sure that I had my DirecTV ready so I can watch my Heat, Panthers, Marlins, and Dolphins when I moved out of town. If I'm on a ship, okay, like I've taken a couple cruises over the years with the wife, and I'm on a 7-day cruise in the Oasis of the Sun or whatever the hell that thing was called, I made sure I had the internet so I can then watch my games. Or if not, I could watch it at the bar. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fan. So Call of Duty, you can't say you're a fan and you haven't watched the game in 3 years. Then you're not a fan.
One of the first things you do when you're making a trip, man, if it coincides with a game, one of your teams, you're figuring out how and where are we going to be when the game starts, when you're on the road, right?
Are we Dodgers or Padres fans, by the way?
No.
But we're baseball fans.
We watch the interest, yeah, we watch.
So didn't we go in a week to go see a bunch of concerts and 2 baseball games?
I had to go to Chavez.
But I'm just saying, because we're fans.
No, we had aspirations of even going to Anaheim, but there was no game over there. That's the only reason we didn't go.
Fans are fans. Either you're a fan or you're not a fan. One of the two. Okay? So either Call of Duty, you used to be a fan, but you're not a fan anymore if you're not watching anymore. I can't live without watching my Panthers. As much as they frustrate the crap out of me, I love the Panthers. Okay? Watch them all the time. I'm one of the few people that are willing to talk Panthers. Okay? But I'm using the Panthers because it's like the worst franchise in town. All right? But I'm still a fan. No matter what, I'm going to watch him. I'm going to root for him. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to fire the GM when he deserves to get fired. But I'm a fan. So I can't make the statement of, yeah, I'm a fan, but I haven't been there in 3 years. I don't watch the games. You're not a fan.
Further confirmation that Trump doesn't, from what I understand, the first thing he did when he got to the White House was have the backboard and the rim ripped out that Obama had put.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That thing rotted out now by this point.
No, he had it ripped down. Like, well, goodbye, go away.
Herman says, oh, yes, I pay to watch my favorite teams play because I'm a fan and I don't live in the U.S. Exactly. It's just the way it is. Rich V says, I live an hour away from Jacksonville, Daytona. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wonder what Jags are going to do. Not sure what all this is about. The Miami Dolphins could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and still not lose any fans. Probably. I don't want to see them do that. I don't want to see that happen. But in a twisted way, I completely understand your point. Ronald says, you have to love all the foolish people that are offended by protest. It's ironic that it's only on sports chat boards and team pages that I run into. They claim they are boycotting sports. And none of them end up boycotting sports. It'll be just 2 or 3 people outside of that. And they're usually really old at that point, and they're kind of tired out as it is. And they don't really follow sports that much. But younger people, man, if you're a sports fan, you're a sports fan. Let's see. I'm positive Snyder was using his money to objectify women. You can tell he loves using people for his enjoyment. That's what Dirty Mike Dominguez says. Listen, it's very believable, Dirty Mike Dominguez. Now, the problem is we don't know. And eventually, listen, he's going to get exposed, okay? He's going to get exposed. Guaranteed he'll get exposed if he did it, But I'm with you, like, it's not like I'm going to be surprised that he did it, right? There's no way you're going to be surprised that he did it. So if it does happen, well, we shall see. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Let's go through a little music news, of course. First of all, let's start off in 1942. Daryl Dragon was born on this day. Musician, songwriter. Daryl Dragon. Do you know who Daryl Dragon is?
I have no idea.
I didn't know this until today. Okay. If you're old, this might be a fun nugget for you. If you're young, you won't care. You don't understand. It won't mean anything to you whatsoever. And I apologize for that, but you can learn something. You can probably, you know what you could do? You can fool your dad or your mom. If you're really young, fool your dad, your mom, your grandma, your granddad with this nugget.
It's not Goran Dragic's stepdad.
No, you got to say, hey, dad, mom, grandma, grandpa, I bet you used to jam to Daryl Dragon back in the day. And they're going to go, Daryl Dragon? No, I've never even heard of that. Well, Daryl Dragon is the husband and wife duo of Captain and Tennille. Did you know that was the captain's name? The captain's name was Daryl Dragon. Now, I was thinking about this. Dragon and Tennille. Why'd you go with the captain crap? Why'd you have to have the little sailor hat and all that?
Because he wants the hat, bro. He digs the hat, bro.
I mean, but he could have been a dragon playing the piano.
This guy was afraid of water. He would never step foot on a boat.
I mean, he could have dressed like a dragon. What's that? What's the thing that is it a kimono or something? What's that thing called? The thing that they wear in the Asian countries, like the martial arts guys or whatever. There's a kimono or whatever the hell it's called. He could have wore something with dragons on it. But Dragon and Tennille sounds great.
Then he doesn't get to wear the hat, though.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
And like I said, the guy was afraid of water, would never step foot on a boat.
By the way,
contrast.
Daryl, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He passed away January 2nd of 2019 from kidney failure at the age of 76.
The song Muskrat, Susie,
Oh, yeah.
Where was that? What is the deal with that song?
I don't know, bro.
Right?
I don't know.
That's like something that the Alvin and the Chipmunks would do.
1953, on this date, Sir Alex Lifeson was born, the guitarist from Rush. As everybody knows, a great, great band. Unfortunately, we lost Neil Peart. I still think that they'll tour when it's all said and done. Mace, y'all remember Mace, of course, with Puff Daddy and Biggie, all that. Mace, known as Mason Betha, was born on this date back in 1977. Okay, there you go. And let me see. I think that's good for music birthdays. In music history, let's start off with 1990. In 1990, on this date, sad news, Stevie Ray Vaughan was killed when his helicopter he was flying in hit a man-made ski slope while trying to navigate through dense fog. Vaughan had played a show at Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin, with Robert Cray and his Memphis Horns and Eric Clapton. Vaughan was informed by a member of Clapton's crew that 3 seats were open on a helicopter returning to Chicago with Clapton's crew. It turned out there was only 1 seat left. Vaughan requested it from his brother, who obliged. 3 members of Eric Clapton's entourage were also killed. Amazing. Can you imagine if his brother goes instead of him, Stevie Ray Vaughan is still here. If he chooses not to find out about, if he never finds out about that helicopter leaving, he's still with us. It's just a crazy world, man, and that's why you got to enjoy every day of your life, because you just don't know what day is the last day you're checking out, man. In 91, on this date, one of the greatest rock albums in history was released. 1991. What is it? Come on, Bill. Come on, bro. Don't disappoint me now. Don't disappoint me. Right after Appetite for Destruction, what's the next album, bro? That's it. That's the only clue I'm giving you.
Oh,
there's only one, bro.
I know.
There's only one.
I'm drawing a blank. You know what? And our friend NorCal is very happy that I am. I can't think of their second album's name.
No, it's the first album.
Oh.
I told you, the next greatest album ever after Appetite for Destruction. What would be the next greatest album after that? Of rock? There aren't too many, bro, after that.
Is it a Metallica? What is
No.
it? Who is it? What is it? Who? Dude, I'm
Pearl Jam 10, bro.
Really?
You don't think so? You don't think 10 is one of the greatest rock albums of all time?
You know, for me, I've always been a little partial to STP over Pearl Jam, just by the hair.
That first album? That first album is historic, bro.
There's no, hey, not to take anything away from Pearl Jam. And you know what's ironic? It still involves NorCal. I was thinking Guns N' Roses, but it's still NorCal's still
he
involved.
hates Pearl Jam too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he hates Guns N' Roses and Pearl Jam.
This is NorCal's.
Yeah, Pearl Jam released
segment.
their debut album, 10, the group's most commercially successful album, which has sold over 13 million copies and produced 3 hit singles, Alive, Even Flow, and Jeremy. To me, it's one of the great albums of all time, man. I mean, that, again, when we talk about greatest rock album, it's probably in the top 100 because there's so many great rock albums, but it is where you want to put it, number 20, number 40, number 50, but whatever. It's one of the top 100 albums, greatest rock albums of all time.
See, for me,
and
STP, Sex Type Thing, Vaseline, that album.
From 1990 on, there aren't a lot of them. So,
you're right about that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, after Appetite, it's got to be 10. That album, you know what I mean? That's got to be the one.
I can't remember the name of the STP of it, but the Vaseline Sex Type Thing, that album.
Oh, that's an amazing album.
For that one, like I said, I'm a little more partial to STP than Pearl.
Plus, you saw that tour live.
That was one of you know what? One of my favorite concert moments for us of all time.
Yes.
We're about to do the greatest song, blah, cover Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, and they smack you with Sex Type Thing. That was so cool.
Big O, I just snuck Flo into the boom room, and she's about to put it on Kenneth. Home video to come later.
You know, she could do disguises. She might be able to dress herself up and look good, right?
Yeah.
With all the disguises and different looks.
Flo, yeah. Flo's got it going on, bro. She can definitely hide herself. NorCal says, I don't hate Pearl Jam. I just think their music is good, not great, but they're talented. It just isn't my favorite. Okay, so he doesn't have the hate he has for Axl, in other words.
Axl gets all of it.
Dirty Mike Dominguez says, never liked Pearl Jam. Sorry, bro. And NorCal says, STP Core, it is Core, that's it, nice job, is badass. Oh, it's a great album. It's a great album, man. Great album. Super Boom Shack says, never mind. Yes, from Nirvana. You're right. But I think that might have been 90 or 89, right? Probably 90, I think. Never mind. Was it 9 or was it after 91? Let me see. I'll tell you right now. What's it called? I'll tell you exactly the year right this second. Give me 1 segundo. Oh, 91. There you go. Released September 24 of 1991. There you go. So there, that was the other great. That's another one right there. That one. Listen, if somebody told me they like Nevermind over 10, I get it. I'm good. But you give me Nevermind, you give me 10, you give me Appetite for Destruction, you give me Core from STP, and I can listen to all 4 of those albums from beginning to end. And I got no problem. Because all 4 of them are in my top 100 of all time. If I had to make a list, I guarantee you those 4 albums will be there. At one place or another. I get we went through a time where people were making fun of Eddie Vedder. So it was kind of one of those things because he became such a pop icon for diving off stage, climbing all the scaffolds and doing all kinds of crazy ass stuff. And then his voice, people always made fun of the voice and all that on SNL skits and all that. So it's just one of those things that I think, in a way, it made some people get turned off by Pearl Jam because people were having fun with them because they were such cultural icons back in the 90s.
Ted made fun of them really good.
Yes, he does a great right. Yeah, the Ted movie, exactly. That's a great one. Yeah, Ted's become one of those movies too. It's harder to channel surf now because I got rid of my DirecTV after they were just brutal. But when I used to channel surf a lot, Ted becomes Ted 1, not 2, but the first one becomes one of those movies that if I'm channel surfing, I'll stop because I got to watch a couple of minutes and laugh with Ted, dropping some jokes or something like that. So yeah, Super Boom Shack says Alice in Chains and STP is better than Pearl Jam. You know what, Super Boom Shack, I don't have a problem with that. I love Alice in Chains too. So I can understand people that like that over Pearl Jam. That's fine. I got no problem with that. It's all subjective, my man. There are plenty of people that like Greta, and then there's plenty of people that don't because they think, they're too influenced by Zepp and all that kind of stuff. But if, you actually listen to their music, it's really good music. They do a really good job. Appetite for Destruction is a top 10 album for me, but Axl couldn't perform live on a consistent basis. Great studio band, but live, they all right. Slash carries that band from day one. Slash is so good. Slash is one of my favorite performers live. Okay? He has become a top 10 performer in rock history for me of live. He's just one of my favorite guitarists live, man. That guy just shreds the entire time. But I you know what? I do love Axl as his voice. I think it's fantastic. And Appetite is definitely a top 10. When I tell you top 100, because all greatest albums of all time, Appetite will probably be in my top 10. That is as you know what Appetite for Destruction reminds me of? Van Halen 1. It's that rock album that grabs you right from the get-go, dude. And when it's all said and done, you're like, it's over already? The whole album's done? And because you rocked out so well from it, from beginning to end. You loved every song, and it flowed so well that it ends before you even know it. So to me, I can understand when someone says that about Appetite, because I kind of feel Appetite is like Van Halen 1. It's just one of those legendary albums that you can't miss. O's list of top 100 rock albums in 600 albums long is 600 albums long. That's a good one. I love that. I'm not a GNR fan, but I love Slash's band with Miles Kennedy. You should see him live, dude. I saw him live in Orlando. Miles Kennedy, by the way, is working on a new solo album. I was reading it. I don't know if I saved that article, but he's working on a new album. I don't know when it's going to come out here. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here, but Miles is working on a new album. So if you like Miles Kennedy, you can check that out. But Miles Kennedy and I forgot what it is, the Slackers or whatever. I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, right? I think it is. Awesome, man. And Miles Kennedy live is really good. He's got a good voice. He's a good front man. You're wearing the Slash Miles Kennedy shirt. There you go. That's right. That's the one from Orlando. Man, I miss concerts. Oh. God, I miss concerts. Man, that is the one thing that I am just really jonesing for is a concert. Oh, I need that badly. Ted, Sam Jones, a.k.a. Flash Gordon, cooked up some hilarious stuff. Okay. I personally did not care for Pearl Jam. I would put Nirvana. Jim Blossom's way ahead of Pearl Jam. Wow. I love Jim Blossoms. I don't know if I'm putting him in. I'm definitely not putting him in front of Pearl Jam. But that I could already tell by that comment that you really don't like Pearl Jam at all. So I could get that. You'd probably put anybody. Joseph Rodriguez says, about to double up on my medication. All right. If it helps, go for it, man. Nothing wrong with that. What else do we have here? Another thing, Lizzie Hale. I'm a big Hailstorm fan. Love Lizzie, man. Well, she has been tapped as the host for the third season of Access TV's A Year in Music, which is set to premiere Sunday, October 4th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Lizzie says, music is a true passion of mine, and I have always been intrigued by how it so perfectly reflects the social and historic happenings of the time in which it is created. Hosting A Year in Music is a dream come true for me, as it allows to both discuss and learn about music's impact on history and then share that knowledge with music lovers across the world. I'm grateful to Access TV for this incredible opportunity, and I cannot wait for it to air. And there you go. So fans can catch an interview Lizzie conducted with SiriusXM on-air personality, Esquire, editor-at-large Dave Holmes as part of Access TV's Home and Social series, Friday, August 28th at 8 a.m. And there you go. I am going to definitely check out that interview myself. I'm a Lizzie fan. I don't know how many of you have ever gotten into Hailstorm, but it's really good music. I really enjoy Hailstorm. I think she does an awesome job. Kenneth in Cleveland, my brother, you are out of control with your fourth super chat of the day. That is amazing, dude. Thank you. Thank you so much. He says, Big O, I put Super Boom and Flow out of the Boom Boom room. All right. So they are out of the Boom Boom room. That's not good. Kenneth in Cleveland is a madman. Love it. All right. Thank you, my brother. And Super Boom Shack says, Kenneth, thanks for the sloppy seconds. Scorpions. They put out an album back in 2015 called Return to Forever. They have now given an update on their new album. Says, we're working very hard on this one. Mickey D says, it's amazing. I had singer Klaus Main. It's cool. It feels good. And we're making progress every other day. D also posted a second update on the 26th with the band enjoying a dinner at a restaurant after a long day of work that they began with the project. So we will hook up in about a month again, all of us, explains the drummer. And then it's down to the dirty deed. But for now, we're done for a couple of weeks. This spring, Scorpions issued a new single called Sign of Hope and will release a new limited edition box set marking the 30th anniversary of their classic hit, Winds of Change. That will come out October 3rd. So if you're a Scorpions fan like I am, you will definitely love that one. I got to tell you, you know what I would put in my top 100? Scorpions Blackout. So, greatest Scorpions album ever. Okay? Love Drive is excellent. Animal Magnetism, Fly to the Rainbow. I mean, they have several really good albums overall. Okay? I've got all of the Scorpions catalog. But Blackout is like one of the greatest albums. That will be my top 100. For sure. From beginning to end, Blackout is amazing.
That during that time, big time. That Screaming for Vengeance, man, and High and Dry.
Yep.
You want to talk about worn out cassettes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, big time. Big time. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes. No doubt about that. So if you like the Scorps, you will get that. What else do we have? I think that's it. I think that's all we have when it comes to music today. Oh, Pink Floyd. One more thing. Pink Floyd concert will be hitting movie theaters worldwide. Pink Floyd will screen a restored and remixed version of their 1988 concert film, Delicate Sound of Thunder, in cinemas worldwide October 15th. The band was captured during their tour in support of the 87 album, A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which I like that album, by the way. The trek marked the group's first since the departure of founding members Richard Wright and Roger Waters, with David Gilmour and Nick Mason continuing to move forward under the Pink Floyd banner. Wright returned to the album and a live series as a salaried musician, just as he did for The Wall. Delicate Sounds of Thunder was filmed and recorded during a 5-night run at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, in August of '88, delivering a set list that's balanced and then new material alongside classic tracks. Originally directed by Wayne Isham, the concert was completely re-edited from the restored and upgraded footage by creative director Aubrey Poe Powell and editor Benny Trickett for the 2019 box set the years later. So there you go. You think you're going to watch that?
Momentary lapse?
No, I mean, the whole damn concert.
Cigar and P Machine. Welcome to Machines.
Yep.
Oh, man, that album. It obviously, Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall are what they are. But, man, Momentary is right up in there.
Yeah, it's a great album. It's a great album. So it'll be cool. I don't know I'd love to read the set list from it. You'd have to, I think you could probably go to setlist.fm and go to 1980, what is it, 87 they said? 88. 1988 and then Nassau Coliseum. You'll see the concerts in the Nassau Coliseum, and then that'll tell you the set list, which will be cool. I'm not a rock maniac like you. Scorpions' Winds of Change gets to me. Oh, well, that's a great song. It should, John Santos. Joseph Rodriguez says, Pink Floyd, now that's my S. Super Boom Shack says, don't forget, accept, fast as a shark. A little accept, huh? You want a little balls to the wall? Has anybody watched Wizard of Oz while listening to The Dark Side of the Moon? Yeah, supposedly like you played like from the beginning.
The Lion's Roar.
Right, the Lion's Roar. You start it.
There's some, I forget exactly what to say, but during the Lion's Roar, you're supposed to start. And it supposedly matches up pretty well.
It's amazing. I've heard that many times. I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten that high to do that.
Speaking Scorpions, I would be remiss if The Zoo is probably my favorite.
Oh, that's my favorite song.
And that video, guys, you want to see some hot, back in the day, 80s girls, check out The Zoo and the girls that they have classic Budweiser bikini, not bikini, the bathing suit, one of the girls. But, I've showed you the video, and you were like, I don't remember that.
Right.
It is worth. And obviously, Girl, I'm Leaving You, with all the girls playing softball. Gotta give props to the girl. Gotta give props to the Scorps. They brought some fine females into their videos.
Oh, usually they did. Yeah, you're right about that. All right. The other thing, Kalen Ballage released by the Miami Dolphins. Talk a little sports. There isn't too many sports to talk about today. The Dolphins aren't practicing. I don't know if they'll practice tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be affected, all that kind of stuff. But Kalen Ballage is released. Ian Rappaport reported it yesterday. No surprise, really. Listen, this is a process right now that they're going through. I read Armando Salguero's article, and he made a lot of decent points along the way, but I think it was more of a drama type filled article than anything else, because you got to judge the man from when he took over last year. Okay? There's too many politics and too much crap that's involved. If Kalen Ballage doesn't fit what this new coach is doing, what are you going to do? And like when he brought up Raekwon McMillan was drafted 3 years ago, and it was for a different coach, a different defensive scheme, a different responsibility. And we talked about this, what was it, a week ago? I told you about Raekwon McMillan, and we were talking about it. And I told you that he's a two-down linebacker. Now, there's nothing wrong with the two-down linebacker if that's how you're going to use him. And maybe that's how they plan to use him 3 years ago with another coach and another defensive coordinator. But this defensive coordinator demands players to be multiple. Last year, Raekwon McMillan did not play bad. He actually was serviceable, man. He did a nice job. They made him a pass rusher. He got a couple sacks. They found a way to use him, but he's not perfect. And I talked about this a week ago that he doesn't really fit what they do. I told you this. So here's the thing. Do you want a team that screws around and leaves Jamar Fletcher on the team year after year after year after year when you know he can't play and he doesn't belong there? Do you want the team that keeps lining up Jerry Wilson? Do you want the team that keeps bringing back Ryan Tannehill, even though Ryan Tannehill could never get you over the hump, was never, ever a difference maker, was no more than a facilitator on his best day? Because that's the team you've had here for the last 20 years. No matter what coach, no matter what front office executive, there were people that were keeping people around that weren't fitting what they do because they were trying to justify and play the politics. These guys don't justify it. They don't play the politics. Kalen Ballage, you're not good enough, you're gone. That's just the way it is. They're not wasting any time. Minkah Fitzpatrick, you want to create a big stink. You don't want to be here? Get the hell out. We'll trade you away. They're not going to waste time. And I'm glad for that. Josh Rosen, we gave you a shot. You had a whole year. You didn't convince us? We're drafting Tua. Because I guarantee you that if Josh Rosen finds a way to kick some ass last year and play well, they don't draft Tua. They get themselves a lockdown corner or a defensive end, another offensive lineman, whatever. They could have gotten themselves a hell of a position player at 5. But if they took Tua, it's because they're turning the page from Rosen. And they're going to give Rosen another opportunity to come back and try to play well and try to become a backup and try to prove himself, and maybe they can trade him. But starting, no, man, they made their decision. They're moving on to Tua. That's just the way it is here. And I love the way they're doing things. You have to be decisive. You have to make decisions that sometimes are uncomfortable. You know, Curtis Weaver, I don't know what happened. But obviously, in the certain amount of months since they drafted him, he didn't do enough to impress them. There must have been several examples that the position coach, the defensive coordinator, and the head coach, and the front office guy, they all must have been talking about him for one reason or another. I told you this, I think last week. I mentioned it a few months ago. This coaching staff cannot screw around. This front office cannot screw around. It's a black front office. They're not going to be given the same chances that a white front office is given. You know that, and I know that. Okay? So Chris Grier knows that he has to kick ass. Do you think he's going to let players go that he thinks he could help them? If he thinks he made a mistake, or if he thinks a player doesn't belong on the roster, or if the coach doesn't like this player, then they're going to move on. And you got to trust their decision-making. You saw what Ballage is. They moved on. You saw Rosen last year. As much as I like Rosen, he just didn't do enough. They got Tua. I don't blame them. But I'd rather have my chances and have Rosen and Tua competing and playing, because Rosen might wake up and Tua might get it done. At least I've got 2 shots now at it. Whereas you never had a shot because you never brought in anybody, and you kept bringing 17 back every year, even though he couldn't do it. So if Ballage is not doing it, or if Curtis Weaver is not impressing you, then you move on. So we're going to complain about somebody making a change they feel to make, or we're going to complain because it's a draft pick. And the other thing is, you can't expect to hit on all the picks. And, you know, one of the things I saw in the article when he was talking about, well, only 1 of 4 first-round picks from the last 4 years are still here. That's not a fair statement, dude. Because Laramie Tunsil would still be here if nobody offered 7,000 picks for him. And Minkah, if he wanted to be here, he would still be here. But they had to trade him because he wanted out. So that's why only 1 of 4 is left. If not, it would be 3 of 4. And you can't mention that by saying, well, they got several draft picks for these players. Let's see what happens with all these draft picks. Because they may end up with a better team because they had several picks. So if they end up with 3 or 4 good players out of the 2 players, aren't they a better team? So it was kind of, I understood what Armando was writing, but I almost felt like it was something that it's kind of an easy write, and there's more depth to it, and there's more story to all of this. You know, especially when he says, oh, well, there's only 1 of 4 first-round picks. Well, but there's context to that. And you got to talk about the context, and it's not necessarily their fault. They made changes, and Minka didn't buy into it, so you got to trade him. Now you got to find another player with that first-round pick and the fourth-round pick that makes up for Minka. And you got to now find, a couple players so you can more than make up for Laramie Tunsil. So there you go.
I'm a little disappointed. You called him Minka, not Minka bitch.
Oh, Minka bitch, yes. Yes.
Listen, can I just say that I absolutely love Setlist FM?
Why,
you know,
what
I
happened?
love.
What do they got?
Because when I put in Pink Floyd 1988, guess what's the first thing that popped up?
What? Oh.
Nassau, Uniondale, New York.
Okay.
Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Signs of Life, Learning to Fly. Yet another movie, Round and Around, A New Machine Part 1, Terminal Frost, A New Machine Part 2, Sorrow, The Dogs of War, On the Turning Away, One of These Days, and Now. Time, On the Run, The Great Gig in the Sky, Wish You Were Here, Welcome to the Machine, Us and Them, Money, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Comfortably Numb, and for an encore, One Slip, and then Run Like Hell.
Oh, I got to see that.
The only thing that for me is missing is Young Lust.
Okay. Ian Rappaport, and thanks to Gus1388, he sent it to me. I guess he copied and pasted. It says, plot twist, the Dolphins are now trading Kalen Ballage to the Jets for a conditional late-round pick. Source said Miami had planned to release him, but New York Jets stepped in before it was official, and the two have a deal. So there you go. Adam Gase wants his old. Remember, Adam Gase.
No surprise. Yes, you call it all the time.
Adam Gase picks all his old guys. So, it'll be just like Julius Thomas. There you go. What can I tell you?
That guy is so predictable, right?
So from 4th round, they got, a 7th rounder for Ballage probably is what they got? Okay. So they lost a couple rounds. Not the end of the world. But what you can't do is hang on to something that isn't working. I watched too much incompetence for too many years. I kind of see something that I like here. Let's see. Big O, sorry, man, but the Minka Fitzpatrick trade might have been the worst trade since Anthony Carter for Robin Senline. Why is it the worst trade? You don't even know what they got for him yet. They may end up with a player that's better, worse, same. I don't know yet. Can't call it a worst trade. You can't do anything about it when somebody doesn't want to be there. You have to move them. You can't keep a disgruntled player. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help you.
I'm going to blame it on Josh Rosen not kicking ass last year as the reason why we weren't able to use the 5th pick and get Isaiah Simmons, man. Can you imagine that guy in the middle of your defense with the corners and the safeties we have?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Could be a possibility. Lisa says, and Lisa, thank you for the mask. I've thanked you a couple times this week. I didn't know if you saw it or not, but thank you, Lisa, for the mask. She says, if I missed this discussion, but since the Lakers and Clips said they are boycotting, do you think the rest of the NBA season will be canceled? No, the report came in already that they're going to play the season. They're going to finish it out. So the games today are canceled, and they'll probably restart on Friday. So Friday we'll get that back. Minka didn't want to play for us. In fact, we got anything of value for him is due to the GM moving quickly and smartly. I got no problem with it, man. I thought they did a good job.
I remember
overall.
that Monday night game, right? It was during the Monday night game toward the end.
Yeah,
that it went down.
And we need to wait to see what develops from these trades to make sure that it's a bad trade. Especially when you mention Robin Senlai. Holy moly. Gase gave a Finns a brick of Coke and some eye drops for Balaj. I'll take it. I'll take anything for that guy. David Gilmour live at Pompeii is incredible. I saw that one. That one's actually exceptional. And when the pandemic is over, Gilmour was set to come here in a concert for, it was like New York, I think, for a couple of dates, and I think one LA date or something. And he's probably going to reschedule those dates and come back. I am flying out to New York to see him at Madison Square Garden. I'm not missing David Gilmour the next time he comes back. I haven't seen him in a long time, so I need to get back to seeing at least the Gilmour side of Floyd. Waters I don't want to see, but what can I tell you? It is what it is. All right, time to wrap it up here on the show. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, keeping it locked here on the program. First of all, let's thank our super chatters, James Sumler, John Rouse, Ian from Brooklyn, Gus 1388, Super Boom Shack, and Kenneth Cleveland, who did it 4 times today, 4 different ones. You're amazing on the super chat. Thank you all out there for super chatting. Super chat.
That took guts. We need guts.
I told you I can totally super chat.
So you think you got what it takes?
You have no skills.
This is permanent.
Good job.
I'm promoting you.
You got a lot of problems, don't you? Take pride in that.
Super chat.
Now, if there's one thing you can be sure of, it's that nothing is more powerful than a young boy's wish. Except an Apache helicopter. An Apache helicopter has machine guns and missiles. It is an unbelievably impressive complement of weaponry, an absolute death machine.
Okay. I don't know where that came from.
I love dude, it's an Apache helicopter.
Love it. Love it. All right. Anyway, thank you all out there. Thanks to everybody that downloaded the show. I hope we get back to talking.
Hey, do you got a meeting?
Sports.
You got a meeting? Do you got a meeting to go to? You want to have an onslaught?
I just don't have any sports. That's my problem.
No meeting?
No sports.
We could replay the onslaught of
no basketball today.
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
Sucks.
Super chat.
And I must have known something coming because I didn't even give you my picks yesterday for the NBA, and that was the right thing to do.
You know what, man? Is this your fault? Is that what you're telling us?
Maybe. You can blame me. That's fine with me. I'll take the blame. I get the blame for everything else. But anyway, thank you all out there for downloading, watching, tuning in any way you can, supporting our sponsors. We thank Steve Ostrov and the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood for always making it nice and easy for us. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll be at the sister dealership at Craig's Inn, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
Regular time?
11 a.m. We've been doing it for 10 years, and we'll be back there tomorrow. And if you want to come on by, check us out over there at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. Everybody is welcome. Except,
hint, John Ross.
Except, of course, the racist Lopez. You got to stay home, racist Lopez.
Don't you still have a YouTube bracelet burning a hole in your bag there?
Oh, yes. Myron has disappeared on me. I got the YouTube ban for him, and he has not shown up yet. Where are you, Myron?
Come on, brother.
Come on, Myron. Anyway, you all stay safe out there. Much love. Be good. See you tomorrow.
Definitely. Y'all have a good one.